The concept of Western civilization is unequivocally relevant in today's world. This is because in a world of violence, political turmoil, economic uncertainty, and pandemics, Western civilization is still the beacon of a unique form of freedom not found anywhere else. It gives peoples all over the world hope that they too can be free of communism, socialism, dictatorships, totalitarianism, and theocracies. The idea of the Western form of freedom and democracy started with the Greeks, was further expanded by the Romans, set on paper by English nobles in the form of Magna Carta, improved by various European parliaments, and bettered by the Constitution of the United States. Not always perfect, not always followed, and scarred by such events as the Crusades, the Spanish Inquisition, the brutal colonization of other peoples, monarchs, and dictators, and the many wars fought amongst ourselves. Western civilization is unique because we believe our form of freedoms come from God and that no government can give these to us or take them from us. Who are the peoples that make up Western civilization? Scandinavia, the islands of the United Kingdom, the majority of the European mainland, the United States, and Australasia. As I said, Western civilization has not always been perfect. We have left scars on ourselves and others, but in modern times, there's been one thing we have left behind for all to grow: the seeds of freedom and democracy. When the governments of Europe or the United States left or were forced out of a colony, it was left up to the indigenous peoples to grow those seeds. Many times, the people failed to grasp the Western way of freedom and democracy, and the evils of tribalism, dictatorship, graft, corruption, communism, and theocracies took over, destroying the positive ideas Western civilization left behind. Areas of the Middle East, South America, and Africa come to mind when talking about failures, but there have been successes. Japan, Singapore, and until recently Hong Kong can be considered success stories, but even their view of liberty and freedom is limited and is not the same as ours. Their democratically elected governments still control many parts of the media and much of their life decisions. For example, last year while working with the Singapore government, I encountered their form of freedom and democracy, the seeds of which were planted by the English. When I found that the government did not allow competing companies from saying their product was better than another, I was surprised. All they could say was that their product was good because of so and so. My Singapore friends did not see anything wrong with this because our form of freedom to compete was mean-spirited. Western civilization's form of freedom is from its people through its government, which in turn brings law and order and obedience, and now we peacefully transfer power from one leader to another. It was not always like this. Western civilization has gone through different forms of government, such as monarchies, aristocracies, to get to democracies, but we got there by ourselves. We did not have anyone planting seeds. There were points where we faltered, and the pendulum tilted away from freedoms, but we have been able to tilt it the other way. Montesquieu's statement that people end up being the slaves of democracy is absolutely wrong. The peoples of modern Western civilization elect their governments, who in turn pass laws to ensure law and order and to ensure their freedoms. The results of the elections and the laws passed do not make everyone happy. That is an impossibility. But the next election allows for a correction. Furthermore, in respect to religious influence on government, the United States and the United Kingdom have exhibited to the world that we can combine divine sovereignty and popular sovereignty and use the tenets of the church to guide the people to the freedoms that is their right. Western civilization is not perfect. No civilization is. We have had setbacks and missteps. Greek and Roman freedom and democracy was not for all. When Rome fell, our kings brutalized their peoples. We had slaves, colonialism, nationalism, dictatorships, communism, socialism, and terrible wars, but all had the seeds of freedom and democracy that our peoples grew to become the civilization we are today, the freest people the world has ever known. I think that today the pendulum is leaning slightly to the left again, but I truly believe that Western civilization will once again find the balance between government, faith, and freedom, and hope that Herbert Spencer was right when he stated that that form of society towards which we are progressing, I hold to be the one in which government will be reduced to the smallest amount possible, and freedom increased to the greatest amount possible, one in which human nature will have become so molded by social discipline into fitness for the social state that it will need little external restraint, but will be self-restraint. Thank you.